Welcome back guys on my channel. I'm excited today because finally I bring you again another rally bike build. It's been a while since the last one I did, but I started modding the Tenere 700. Today we have an Husqvarna FE350 2019 model that we built for the Motor Bike Expo. It's a trade show that happens every year here in Italy. It's one of the biggest motorbike trade shows in all the country. I really enjoy these projects because I need to develop something new, so it's not just a standard kit and design done. It's something completely new. As you can see, we turned all the plastics in black instead of white and then designed a custom graphic kit. But with no further ado, let me start introducing you all the accessories we put on this build. First thing I'll show you is the fairing kit. We have the transparent windshield with the headlight mask and the two 15 watts each LED lights that plug in the OEM wiring, so you can use the OEM switch, even though on this bike we removed completely the switch because we didn't need turn indicators, and after I'll show you. We have the windshield that deflects nicely the air over the rider and to the sides. Then we have a set of side panels made in fiberglass that match perfectly the lines of the radiator shrouds. All is held into place with the fairing quick release with these Zeus fasteners. This makes it super quick to remove the windshield and access the nav tower in case we need to work on the wires or need to place, like here on the tower, some levers or some spare parts. Speaking of the fairing assembly, you see we have this plastic headlight mask with two holes because this will make it super easy to clean the LED lights in case you're riding in mud and you're riding at night. But also the hole is made a bit bigger so that we also can tilt the angle and the direction of the light. So we have two adjustments we can do so that we are sure we will have light in the right path that we want it to shine. Moving on the other side of the windshield, I'll explain to you the features of this nav tower and setup I did on this particular bike that we designed not only for the trade show to be exposed, but for Francesco to also take part in the Del Swank Rally and other amateur events where it could be that both items are used, roadbook and GPS. For this reason, we have a special handlebar bracket that I designed that can sit a GPS, any Garmin. You can sit a Garmin 276CX like in this build, but also you could put the Montana and the Zumo and other, and if you wanted, even your phone or a tablet. So we have here the GPS that will always be here, so he can use it also for adventure riding and not only for rally events. Then moving up, we have a voltmeter display. This will let us know if we are running low on the battery. But if we open the cap, we have two quick charge USB ports, super useful if you need to charge your phone or any other device. The housing is CNC machined in aluminium, so very reliable compared to plastic ones that are cheaper that you can find on the market. We have an on-off switch with LED. This we will use to turn on the voltmeter display and the USB ports, because most of the time when you're riding you don't really need the USB ports turned on, even though this cap makes it waterproof. Obviously, if you go in a river, it won't be waterproof, but for rain, it causes no problems. Moving on, we have a MIGTEC roadbook holder, a motorized one, which we command with the RNS dual switch. This is the brand new switch that came into the market this year, and the buttons are different and the layout also is different. One feature I really like of this switch is that it occupies the same space of a single switch to command only one trip and one roadbook, but here we can command the roadbook holder and two trip master or one trip master and a speedo cap. Beneath the switch you can see there is a new added protection so that in case of crash it will be more difficult to break the thumb switch of the roadbook. And as I said, this commands also up to two trip masters, but on this build we placed only one RNS XL trip master, a new model. On the new model, the buttons are slightly different compared to the previous ones. Then we left this space open because we'll decide in future if to put GFX trip master, you know, with the internal antenna, so that we can have the cap heading, we can have a GPS trip master, but also we can have the arrow linked to the Garmin GPS so that we have an arrow to get to our waypoints. On the right-hand side of the nav tower, we put a Husqvarna hour meter to keep track always of the service intervals, and all the wiring of all the instruments. Then it's done through the 6-way fuse box with LED error indicator. So if we break a fuse, the red LED will turn on and you'll know immediately which fuse you have to change. Furthermore, we have only one power wire going not even from the battery, but from the diagnosis connector that's placed under the seat, comes to the nav tower. So any item we need to change or add to this setup for our navigation instruments, we will just simply need to remove the windshield and do all the wiring just on the tower. On the left-hand side of the tower, instead, we have the Erie track bracket, but also used for emergency kit, rain gear, or a tool bag. On this build, we put a KTM emergency kit, always useful to have with you when you're adventure riding or taking part in any event. The whole tower assembly is held onto the frame with a plug-and-play system that I personally have a patent for, that makes you plug in the tower just using 2 bolts without having to weld, without having to drill anything. It's completely plug and play and very secure, because you have to think now this nav tower bracket setup has been used several years in Dakar, in Africa race, in all the world championship by even professional riders. The other very important feature is the fact that we can tilt the angle of the road book, but also raise it or lower it down depending on which hand guards we are putting on the bike. Then also the windshield bracket can be tilted slightly so that we can always have the side panels of the fairing match perfectly the radiator shrouds. But the most sexy feature of this nav tower, in my opinion, is from a design point of view, the Husqvarna stainless steel logo, and the fact that we managed to keep all the wires internal to the tower, so there's no wires out running anywhere, and in case even of crash, we won't have to worry about wires getting ripped off. Handguards, that even though this is a Husqvarna, we put the KTM EXC OEM handguards in black color. Now that you're on that side of the handlebar, I can quickly show you that we have no chev mount, you know, the one for the turn indicators and to turn off your bike and to turn on the lights. We completely removed it and put the switch that is used on the motocross bike. So we have just a red switch to turn off the bike and a gray switch to turn on the bike. Whereas for the lights, we wanted to be able to turn them completely off. So we placed next to the OEM dashboard a pull switch so that we could turn them off and on easily. With this setup, we can also keep the OEM dashboard in its original place. Here instead is the pull switch for the LED lights. Looking at the rest of the bike, we have a different fuel tank setup. We have a 12-liter fuel tank. One thing I like of this tank is that it lets you keep the same width of the bike, so the radiator shrouds are exactly in the same position. The fuel tank develops a bit on top here, and on the left-hand side it goes further down than the OEM tank. It uses the OEM fuel pump, so very reliable, and we put a valve cap here with a red anodized tap so that it could look nice with all the bike. From a design point of view, we really wanted to make the bike stand out, but we also had to keep the colors of the Motor Bike Expo logo. So we went for a full sticker kit design that we almost developed from scratch. I got the KTM EXC graphic I made for Gilberto and adapted to this Husqvarna, making the Motor Bike Expo logo really big so that it's super visible. Also, we have it here. Then we put the customization of the name here in small of Francesco. It was then important to make a cool seat because Francesco is pretty tall, so to add comfort, if you are a tall rider like over 185 centimeters, on the Husqvarna FE and KTM EXC OEM seats, there is really little foam, so it can be uncomfortable for long rides. So we put a special foam that we handmade 2.5 centimeters higher. In this way, we have more comfort, and we went for the quick dry leather that we use on all factory bikes that we produce, you know, the seat covers for many factory teams at Dakar. So it's very comfortable, it gives a good grip and dries quickly in case there is rain. Moving back, we have a layer of memory foam so that when Francesco will sit back here on the long liaisons, he will have added comfort and softness, but also we put the camels. This provides better grip in case there is mud, but we wanted to do it different from the standard ones that Rebel X Sports sells that are all in black. We made the camels in red material. It's a different material from the quick dry leather. It has a bit more grip. Sometimes we use this material on motocross bikes. But before you ask me in the comments, these custom seat covers are made exclusively for riders that bring here the bikes for full custom builds. We are unable to make custom colors and designs and foams for just a seat. So don't contact Rebel X Sports if you want to ask if you can have a green seat with yellow stripes, because that will be possible only if you have me custom building your bike. On Instagram, I publish stories of several steps during this bike build. So if you haven't done it, go and follow me on Instagram to keep updated and see live content while I build bikes. And some of you have asked me, where did I find red fork guards for the Husqvarna? Well, these are the gas fork guards. So I ordered those, put them, and then apply the sticker on, because I like to take care of small details. And another small detail that maybe you noticed, I put red anodized bolts on the fairing. One last thing I didn't show you before is this brake line guide. It's 3D printed. I designed these and make them in different colors, and this prevents the brake cable and the sensor cable to clash against the road book and move around. It's held in with zip ties and it does the job. Obviously, being 3D printed, this is in PETG material. After a while, you'll need to change it, but it can take several rallies without any problem. And on Pierpaolo's bike, he's still running it and he's done 3 rallies, so it does the job. Okay guys, we've come to the end of this other adventure rally bike build. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you like the Husqvarna with this black scheme and black plastic but the white frame. And if you haven't done it, go and follow me on Instagram, subscribe to the channel, cause in the next weeks finally I will have other bike builds like the KTM 690 Enduro that I turned into an adventure bike. I'm almost done with that. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Ciao!